Never, ever take it for granted. Never, ever take it for granted. If you wake up in the morning, you might have some issues, but it's still a beautiful day.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Recovery Project with Richie, Barnett and Mel Abbott. We have had some amazing stories so far. I've loved hearing about people managing to avoid having part of their lung removed, getting well after a near-death experience in a car crash. We've had Steve Gurney with his nearly dying during an adventure race. It's been amazing, and I'm going to hand over to Richie now to introduce our very exciting guest today.
Yeah, super excited today to have a friend of mine and a person I'd admired for so many years, Sir Peter Leitch, QSM, a businessman who took New Zealand by storm with his mad butcher stalls. I think he ended up with 36 across New Zealand. Well known for his charity expertise. His personality shone throughout New Zealand. I'm so glad that Sir Peter is on today. And Sir Peter, welcome on to our show. How you been, buddy?
Well, firstly, let me tell you, Richie, I'm bloody glad to be on your show because I woke up this morning, and that's a big bonus, waking up in the morning. It's a great feeling. Never, ever take it for granted. Never, ever take it for granted. If you wake up in the morning, you might have some issues, but it's still a beautiful day.
And I love that about what you said before, Pete, is Sir Peter, is that you're
Cool.
waking up feeling grateful for your day. And I know you've had a lot of challenges, and let's delve into that. Let's delve into dyslexia when you first knew you had it. What was that? What was life like living with dyslexia throughout your life?
I didn't know I had it until later in life, because when I was at school, they didn't know it was. I just thought I was a dumb bugger, you know. Look, to be fair, it has given me challenges, but I don't know if I'd be where I am today if I didn't have it, because that made me stronger. It made me more determined, you know, and you just got to move on. You can't sit back crying and say, oh, I've got dyslexia. You know, you've got to move on. You've got to move forward. And that's what I done. And, you know, it's hard to explain, but like, I still don't know my alphabet or times table. Yet I actually had 40 butcher shops under my umbrella. They were franchised in the end, but, you know, it was a massive chain, you know. And it just really, it goes to show you don't have to be the brightest guy in the class to do well in life. You can be the dumbest guy in the class to do well as well. I used to go to Wellington Tech and South Wellington Intermediate, and there was a guy in my class called Murray Gifford, and we used to both joke who was the dumbest in the class, and we were in the lowest class. Like we were in 4B4, mate. It started at 4B1, 4B2, 4B3. We were in 4B4, mate, you know. So, yeah, life goes on, mate, you know.
So did that sort of knock your confidence if you're being told all the time that through school that you're dumb and, you know?
I didn't know what confidence was. I actually, my confidence grew for me when I left Wellington to come to Auckland, and I was working in Cranberry Road in the butcher shop called Newton Meat. And I just thought, you know, I was just an average Joe Blogg. And there was a guy there that thought he was really smart. Can't remember his name now. And we had a competition boning the side of beef down one morning. And he thought he was the best. And I thought, I beat him hands down. And I thought, if he thinks he's the best, I must be the bloody champion, the world's best. And that gave me confidence. That's where that's really where I gained my confidence.
With the sort of living with dyslexia, what sort of changes did you make so that you could be successful in business? How did you get around not being very familiar with your alphabet and your times tables?
You're asking questions I can't answer. No bloody idea. I just got on with life.
Just got on with it.
If you knew me, you know I'm very positive. I don't believe in negativity. I'm very, you know, and I just got on with it. And I thought, oh, who cares, you know, just get on with it, you know. And yeah, I really didn't make any changes. I just knew there were some things. And I'm not scared to put my hand up and ask for help. I'm not scared to do that. I do that regularly. You know, 78 years old, and I still put my hand up and say, can you help me, please? The screen at the back that you're looking at, helped me put the guy Glenn from the Vodafone Warriors helped me put that up, because he done a Zoom meeting that I was on one day. He had it. I said, how do I get that? And he put it up.
Nice.
So he said to us, there's no shame in asking for help.
Yeah.
No shame. And there's no other shame if you are, going through a bad time, reaching out.
The NLP that we were talking about earlier has a technique that helps with dyslexia that takes about 5 minutes to learn. Are you keen to have a go at learning that today?
No, I'm not.
No?
You know why? Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
I want to learn it. Come and see where I live on Waiheke Island. Come out kayaking with me. Mate, I couldn't give a shit. I've got dyslexia. There's worse things to worry about.
It just doesn't matter to you.
No, look, I appreciate that. And look, let me tell you, you can live with dyslexia. It's not that. I'll tell you a lovely story. A lady rang me and asked me if she could bring her boy along because he had dyslexia. And he was going through what I went through, thinking he was dumb. You know what I mean? So we had a talk, and I never talk about what I've earned, but I took him in the S8 Audi. And I hope there's no police listening, because I did, impress him with putting the foot on the accelerator. And I actually told him what I paid for it. And boy, that resonated with him. That resonated with him. And his mother rang me and said, he's a changed man. About a month later, she rang me, said, he's a changed man. He's a changed young boy. So it's talking to you, he's changed. He's full of confidence, And so there's many ways, but and I appreciate your offer, but it's not a death-defying thing. If you could tell me here, I could, wake up in the morning and know 110% I'm not going to get cancer again. Boy, I'd love to learn that. But the dyslexia, I can.
Well, I'd have some ideas for you about preventing cancer returning too. We could have a chat at another time.
Okay, but the thing is, right now I still help people with dyslexia. I still help in my way and give them confidence.
Yeah. So your message to them is, it doesn't matter that you have dyslexia. Just get on with your life and know that you're actually smart and can do whatever you want to do anyway.
If I meet an adult that's got dyslexia and they're concerned about it, I say, look, firstly, there's worse things you can get than bloody dyslexia. And then I just go through my story. Because I come from a family of 7. I was the youngest child, born in Horner Street in Newtown. And I was spoiled. I don't like to admit it, but, we weren't rich people, but, I had brothers and sisters looking after me. Mum and dad were good parents. So I was really, looked after well. Maybe not spoiled, but looked after. So when I come to Auckland, I had to stand on my own 2 feet. There was no one to look after me. And this guy, when we had this race this morning, it just gave me a real boost. Made me think, I'm not as, dumb as I think I am, maybe. Yeah. But that's a long time ago, because I'm 78 now. Yeah.
Nice. So from that day, what then changed? When you start believing in yourself, you think, maybe I've got sort of some capability here. How did that then progress?
It gave me confidence. Incidentally, when I said I'm 78, you were supposed to say, gee, you look good for your age. But you
Well, you do.
You're not supposed to say that though, Pete.
No, ladies say it, mate. Ladies say it. Look, I think that was the starting term. Then I before that, I'd got a job working in Puera Cemetery and a gravedigger. Now, what do you think you'd learn out of being a gravedigger? No one, when I used to do public speaking, no one ever got this right. You let the lady go first, Richard. What would you think you'd learn being a gravedigger there?
Oh, what would you learn? Well, I guess you're maybe aware of other people's journeys more, because you're aware of the losses that people are going through. It could develop some empathy.
That's not bad. Richie, your turn.
Respect.
No, let me tell you. The young lady was close. You learn the value of life. The first grave I had to dig was for a young boy about 11 or 10. And to sit back and watch the appearances, it taught me the value of life. I was living in a flat, single, having a great time. And it taught me the value of life. As your journey goes through life, you're thrown major challenges. I suppose the biggest challenge I got was when I felt funny down below. And here's a message for any men that may be listening, or women, I suppose. But, you know, if you don't feel right, go to the doctor. And if you're not happy with that doctor, go to another doctor. Because I was lucky. I had a very good doctor. His name was Bruce Page. And he said, "Oh, I think you just got a bit of an infection." He said, "But I'll send you there to a urologist, you know." So I went to a guy called Robin Smart, and he was good as well. And he said virtually the same thing. It's just a, you know, bit of a infection, but we'll do all the tests. And it come back that I had, I never forget going to see him. And he said to me, "You've got a rare form of bladder cancer. And if we don't get it early, you die." And
Gosh.
he said, "But we got it early, so we're lucky." And so I'm still here today. And then I got involved in prostate cancer. I learned a lot through that. I was ambassador and patron, I think, you know, for many years, given up recently. But so that was another learning curve for me.
So what was the learnings in there that you came across?
Men have to go to the doctors. Too many men are too macho to go to the doctors, you know, and go to the doctor. And please understand, I'm not a medical expert. I'm a retired butcher living on Waiheke Island virtually most of my time. But if you don't, with a lot of cancers, if you don't get it early, like my cancer, you could die. 90% you'll die, you know. So you've got to go early. Too many men I met through my journey with prostate cancer had left it a little bit late. A lot survived. So, you know, you've got to go and get checked. My own brother died because he wouldn't go to the bloody doctor. You know, it was sad.
Yeah, very
Great
sad.
message. Great message, Sir Peter. And through that journey, when you first knew about your bladder cancer, sort of what were you going through then? Because obviously there will be times where you're feeling down, the confidence level drop, and just naturally your body is going through a bit of challenges. How did you feel during that time?
Well, Richie, first let me tell you, my wife actually came to the doctors that day. We sat in the room and we hopped into my wagon outside. This was in, well, you know, the medical clinic, not far from where you live. And I got in the car and I just bloody cried because I never thought I was going to see my granddaughters or grandkids. You know, so it was pretty horrific, you know.
Totally.
You see, I don't believe in negativity. I only believe in positivity. If you follow me on Facebook, which is Sir Peter Charles Leitch, I never talk negative. If I go to a restaurant and it's bad, I never comment. I talk positive. So I think the main thing is I'm not religious, but I had faith. I had faith in the doctor. I had faith in the urologist and my own doctor. And I've got a lovely wife that looked after me. And yeah, I didn't go through any of that, Richard, that you talked about. I just had faith that I was going to come right. I believed. Well, my biggest learning experience was something done to my heart because I died on the operating table and they brought me back. I never realised how much work the anaesthetist does and the doctor. And I remember when it was all over, I brought them both a lovely expensive bottle of champagne or wine or something. And they said, "You don't need to do that. That's our job." I said, No, I got to do it because keep me alive, mate. And I've got a lot of living to go. I'm still waiting for the Vodafone Warriors to win a grand premiership, you know. Yeah. So no, life throws you a lot of curve balls, you know, and you just got to go with them, got to flow. And you don't want to let it get you down. It's like when I got diagnosed with diabetes. I go to the specialist because I could afford to go to him. And he says to me, he said, "I better tell you," because I just felt so relaxed about it, you know. He said, "I better tell you a few stories about some of my patients." He said, "A month ago, one guy lost his leg. And boy, that got my attention." Then he says to me, "You know, a couple of people have died." He said, "I'm not a bad doctor, but that's what happens to diabetes." And you see, when you haven't had it, you don't think about it. But when you have a loved one like my grandson or someone close to you gets it, you know, like my wife gets it, you then take notice. And I don't think there's any way in the world we can make people aware. There are so many diseases out there now. you know, it's a possibility to make everyone aware. But when you know someone or you get it, you become very aware very quickly, very aware.
Yeah, I mean, I've been specializing in chronic illness recovery for over a decade now, and yet there's still new illnesses coming forward that I hadn't heard of, especially autoimmune disorders. There seem to be enormous numbers of autoimmune disorders. So there's, you know, common ones I see a lot, like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, but there's, you know, new names of things coming through all the time. So,
yeah, look, it's an interesting journey, you know, and I revert back to what I said before. You've just got to keep telling yourself you will, even if you've got a few issues. And right now, I've got a few issues, you know, bad knee, I've got Crohn's disease and some other bloody
well, that's an autoimmune one. Maybe you should come and talk to me.
No.
I've seen people do very well for Crohn's disease. I've seen people make great recoveries from that.
Oh, yeah, but you just live with it. And, you know, I wake up.
No, you don't have to live with it. You might be able to get better from it.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying.
Look at that. Look at that segue. Hey, Peter, I've always loved your optimism and seeing things from a positive all the time. What are you happy about what you've seen throughout your whole life, Pete? What brings you so much joy?
I think my family, my granddaughters, kids, and my wife. I mean, we argue now and again, but, you know, she's been you know, you find out how good your wife or partner is when you go through a tough time. And, you know, when I went through my cancer scare and that, she was there. And when I, you know, had the big heart operation, she was there. Look, to be honest, Richie, I'm very lucky. I've got many things to be thankful for. I've met some wonderful people through my journey in life, and I'm very, very grateful. You know, I've met a few arseholes, but I've met for every rat bag, there's 100 good people, or maybe 1,000 good people. So yeah, you know, and I've been lucky. I've succeeded in business, and that's given a benefit of living a comfortable life. But if you want to upset me, say to me, oh, it's all right, you got money. Well, I had to work bloody hard to get that money, let me tell you. And a few people have learned a few lessons from me. I gave up drinking, gave up smoking, never went anywhere for about 3 years while I was trying to build the business. When I first opened the first shop, I had 3 jobs. I used to South Auckland Motors in the morning and Coca-Cola. And then during the day, I'd work in the butcher shop. Then at night, I'd go out boning, you know, at another meat plant. So it doesn't come easy. It's like Richie become a famous rugby league player. Doesn't come easy. You got to work hard at it. And if you want to succeed, you've got to work hard. And you're not going to get rich or get well off like I am. I'm not rich, but I'm well off. Sitting down smoking, listening to the races all day.
Yeah,
you make the
absolutely.
Choice, you know, and that's it. It's been nice. Yeah, been nice talking to you. But Richard, I want to just say one more time. I look at you and I think I'm seeing a miracle. A miracle. It brings a tear to my eye. I'll never ever forget that day when I held your hand for a brief moment, and your wife Kerry was there. Unbelievable. So have faith, and I'm not talking about religion faith. I'm just saying, have faith, because miracles happen. And what happened to Richard, the recovery, I believe, was a miracle. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I believe it was a miracle.
So Peter, we're going to leave our recovery project. I am so grateful that you've been on our show. I'm so grateful the awareness you bring up with so many other charities. I'm so grateful for your input to society and communities, particularly in sport as well, which is a community. I'm so grateful that you've touched so many other people's lives through your story and a continuation of supporting so many people. I think your quote, which has always been something that everyone knows, is around the best thing you could ever do is give your time to people. And that's something that it's always stuck in my head.
I want you all to do me a favour. Go out there and share the love in our community. Share the love. We don't do enough of it. And we do all good health, good luck, And go the mighty Vodafone Warriors!
Nice, that's awesome. Thank you so much to Peter. I've loved hearing your stories.
Yeah. So
And
cool.
we'll be back in a fortnight with another fantastic recovery story to share with you all. It's going to be the Jess Quinn who lost her leg when she was 8 years old to cancer. She then progressed to being on Dancing with the Stars with her one leg. So we're going to be talking to her in a fortnight. We'll be back then.